Astronaut.
2, 1. Liftoff. Liftoff. We copy you on the ground.
What here? Mirage.
What's going on, everyone? It's JERANISM back with another video for you today. Let's discuss the moon landings, or the lack thereof. If it's important, as if NASA is the moon, then they know it all. They know it all. That changes it all. Let's read a quote first to start off. One of the saddest lessons of if we believe enough any evidence of the bamboo, interested in finding out the truth. The bamboo is simply too painful knowledge, even to ourselves, and taken. Once you give a charlatan power over you, you almost never get it back. Surprisingly, that quote is from. Of course, he is talking about religion and how we were fooled. Then, when we are confronted with the evidence of the bamboo, we reject it. It's just too painful. Be told, science can also pull off a boozle of its own, especially if they were able to put something in textbook. Here's another great quote from Carl Sagan: "Finding the occasional of truth awash in a great ocean of confusion and bamboozle requires intelligence and courage. But if we don't practice these tough habits of thought, we cannot hope to solve the serious problems that face us. We risk being suckers up for grabs by the next charlatan who comes along." A third quote: "If we are not able to ask skeptical questions, to interrogate those who tell us that something is true, to be skeptical of those in authority, then we're up for the next charlatan, political or religious, who comes rambling along." And so that's what I'm doing. Being skeptical, asking questions. Like, why are the facts around the easily forgotten? Let's start with Armstrong in his greatest memory. That first step. One step, right? Or let's see if it can
walk. The stage, the scene was this. Sunday, as for the first time in our world, at 4:18, landing the moon. After at 10:56, one stepped down, placed his foot and said,
"That's one small step."
And why did you say those words, Neil Armstrong?
Well, it was a natural thing. It was a step, a very down from the step, but the third of America for a day to make this happen, and it was a big step for all of us people.
So you may have noticed there, Armstrong said that 1/3 per decade, big step for all of them. He also says it was a small 6-inch. Now listen to this.
About 6 inches. The step. Six inches. About 6 inches.
or 6 inches. It was definitely the other. Talk briefly about Buzz Aldrin, who committed suicide prior to the television the moon landing because she was worried about the fame that. Now let's stop and think. So a year prior to going to herself because her son will soon have fame in media. To me, that just doesn't make sense. Would a mother pause a trip to the moon by killing herself? Well, she did. Days before the Apollo trip, during a press conference, the 3 astronauts are asked,
For me, and I'm not sure whether some of the as far as
and so that was an interesting answer. Of course, he can't say his mother committed suicide. Buzz and his family, according to his book, told him to say it, and then only acted and say that his father committed suicide. The lie was to make sure that there was no attention brought upon Buzz or his family. To me, that was no big deal, Buzz Aldrin. Also, just wanted to point out, on this timeline, they launched July 16th at 9 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time and landed a Sunday, almost 4.5 days later. The first step on the moon was 6.5 hours after that, and then they 1969 34 p.m. Eastern Time and splashed in the ocean 3 days later on the 24th at 12:50 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. An estimated 600 people watched the Apollo that stood until the wedding of Princess Diana in 1981. Remember, they wanted everyone watching live, and that Nixon, the federal and state governments, as well as employees, the day off on July 21st. So think, do you really think the government would want live if something would terribly wrong? Was capped off with a huge American as the crashes to the moon while millions watch children. No, isn't that what they were doing? They knew everything would be just fine. And remember, we went to the moon 6 times during a span of 4 years. And how many were in office for all those moons? Do you remember? Nixon? You're right, there was one. Just Dick Nixon.
right kind of example.
And remember, Aldrin, Collins, and Armstrong would not even know that they went to the moon. Armstrong was even offered $5,000 cash, the Bible, could have given to charity. He declined, saying, "Knowing you, Mr. Sibrel, that's probably a fake Bible," which makes every Apollo mission made its own cash, and all of them were named Apollo 11. Again, important launched July 16, 1960, and the importance of Stanley Kubrick writing into his contract he wanted Eyes Wide Shut to be released on July 1999, the 30th anniversary of the Apollo launch. Now, it happened, but Kubrick did, as he died on March 7, 1999, which was only a day after he showed the trial cut to 6 days after he went to the stars. So the thing is that March 7th, 66th day of that year. Also interesting is from that date of March 7th, 1999, and 2000, the end of the millennium, was exactly 666 days. The next day being 2001, and of course, we all remember so yes, 600 days until the start of the millennium. You might say, wait a second, the new millennium started January 1st, 2000, but that's not exactly correct. Remember, the 20th century. We're now in the last year of this century, 100. Just look at it this way: to need 1,000 years. So 1,000 is included with the years 1. That 1,000 years. So 2,000 is included. 1,000. 1,001 through 1990. 2,000 equals 1,000. So the question becomes: Kubrick want the movie released on July 1990, which is 30 years to the day that Apollo launched for. And another question for space fans or Elon Musk fans: why? If an asteroid hit Earth and it was big enough, humanity could go on, right? Just like that. So everyone says we have to colonize Mars, but nobody asks why in the world would we not have a base with 20 or 30 people about it, because these are important. We've been there 6 times, and this would protect humanity from destruction. If a giant meteor ever hit Earth, we'd be able to. But we have. Why not? Well, pretty simple, because we can't. That's why. And we talked about, we discussed Armstrong and the moon, seemingly all his NASA commitments, but not interviews. And Neil just acted fun, including in 1994, Mark made a tree ornament with Neil's life and a soundbite of his famous first words. Neil promised Topps in 2009 for including him in the American Heroes series. Topps argued that the historical images were simply as free speech. Luckily, the judge agreed, stating that the image was protected as free speech and a matter of public interest. Buzz had no problem selling his slide rule, his underwear, and even what a class. Aaron made a good little documentary called "Here We Go," when the state of Ohio paid him to spend a year trying to prove. Here's a short clip from attempting to speak to him. There's a link in the description that will take you to the page.
All right, 5 till 2 at 700 WLW. Mike McConnell. Guest again, Mr. Aaron. Making a documentary film trying to prove he went to the moon. Easy to do, apparently. Armstrong jammed everything but the Neil Armstrong hotline. Is 749-3700. 5 minutes left, Neil. Yeah. Donna, how? What? Yeah.
Well, I don't have any, but I just, in my heart, I believe that we did, and I don't think the American would think that the American is that stupid.
What have you uncovered, Aaron?
Well, I am trying to prove it. In reality, I can't find any hard evidence. But I thought it was going to be an easy to prove. Suddenly we have...
It's not all that provable.
It's not that provable. No luck at the radio station. I head to Ohio, birthplace of Neil Armstrong and his boy home. Did you know Neil Armstrong?
I don't want to make any commitments.
Oh, you met Armstrong? What was he like?
Nice guy.
Talk to you about it just for a
I
sec?
don't think so. Yes, I mean,
Okay. I'm sorry. Do you know Armstrong?
Yeah.
How would you describe Neil?
I have no words for that. I don't know who you
Are people putting all between me?
Next, we have a appearance to discuss the budget carefully and try to. So, here's Neil.
About a month ago, the president announced a budget for the space that included hence the manned exploration components of and the three of us were very concerned about that and made our concerns known to the public and to the Congress, to the administration. And so thanks to interest in the Congress, they set about modifying the authorizations and appropriations to complete as much exploration matters as they thought would be achievable with the budget available. Progress right now. We will, the three of us and many of our colleagues are going to be continuing to express our hope and perhaps change the course of our NASA policy. This part, we collected our nation and our citizenry has invested a half a century of their best intellects and their experience and their best determination and our taxpayer resources to become a leader, establish a leadership position in the space arena. And we recognize that for any to maintain them requires that they could be doing their job very well. And so the fact that we essentially right now have a space station which is funded, but more than 90% came from and it's an enormous and not have any access for ourselves. We have no access right now. The United States has no access to take our people to the space station and back or go any other place. And we'll have no such access for a substantial number of years in the future is very, very discouraging to those of us who think this was a very good investment for Americans and their colleagues in the international community over the past decades. Keep working on it, and
Yeah, that's too bad. No access to space. Poor babies. All we need to do is actually things that NASA does, and that should be nothing more than thieves. For example, the shuttle Enterprise, which could never be Columbia, Challenge, Atlantis, two of which were destroyed, but at a total of $200 these 9 orders could actually needed it to do. Think about it. We had a vehicle that could go to space. It could get into orbit. It could dock with the ISS. It could fix satellites and do all that's needed, except get more. Those shuttles. We can't get more funding with these things. Scrap them. This way we can ask for more funding. I mean, just think about it. Would just get rid of the shuttle and then go complaining that we have no access to space. It's not my fault. We're now going to listen to Jim Love. And listen because he that you can hear from every all these guys. They'll tell you the truth of why we program if you listen carefully.
Other than the proceeds that we got from the program, it was the spur to education for the young people. The three of us, every week, and now in the early 50s, were youngsters who were doing the flying, who come on to become engineers or doctors or businessmen. Anyway, to improve. This is the one thing when the space program becomes the past. Is not just what we can accomplish in space, but all it does to our young people going up and want to go through and do something that they think they really want to pursue.
Now, before we move on to the live ABC broadcast, I have a question. Astronauts are weightless because they're falling, missing curvature of Earth. They're falling around the curvature, which keeps them in orbit. Okay, I get that. So I wonder why to the moon. Well, let's see if this educational film will help us at all. And again, as I say all the time, don't do any of this. You need to do your own research. People out there, fans of science, don't like questions being asked. They don't like you doubting or questioning the almighty NASA. But I, on the other hand, quite a. And the first, why do they float?
Another thing you should know is we just don't float around on the orbiter because there is no gravity. We still feel Earth's gravity. So are we floating? Because we're gravity. And let's say this apple is like a spaceship orbiting the Earth. It's gravity that keeps us in orbit. Without gravity, we would fly into space and never come back.
Here's another example. When I drop a space shuttle, too, it just get the apple, and but we're not falling towards it. Let's imagine very tall. Suddenly, when he up, the car begins to fall inside the elevator. Well, since he's falling and the elevator is falling at the same rate, the body isn't pushing out of the elevator anymore. As he's with him, it would float just like one in the apple and the elevator fall.
So, why do astronauts? To ask an astronaut, and the question: if astronauts in Earth orbit because they are falling to Earth, astronauts experience gravity and movement. Phil Gartner. The answer from the astronaut: the common situation for the astronauts is that in both cases they are free fall, falling solely under the shuttle was falling under its gravity. Same as astronauts descend to Earth, but their speed is such that their curved falling path from around the curved surface of the Earth. They hit the ground. The Apollo astronauts are on the moon. We're still falling close to the moon. They felt a gravitational tug and entered lunar orbit, thus falling around our natural satellite way. A spacecraft is actually falling around the sun in a solar until it encounters the gravitational field of the planet. In each space astronauts experience free. So I don't. All we got to do is look at this. I can Orbis going on the Earth, missing culture, but we head off toward falling around curve. How we? I don't get it. Anybody else? Please inform me, because I think just I don't know. I think Lawrence Krauss best describes NASA.
And as I was saying to someone else today, NASA doesn't know its astronomical when it comes to fundamental physics. I mean, it me and offends me.
Hey, that's cool. It embarrasses and offends. So let's now watch the ABC live telecast and start with the word spoken years ago that started the theft agency and each a lot of people.
We choose to go to the moon. Choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon and meditate and do the other thing. Not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
Proves to be difficult, then we will take our enemy. Anyone who is willing to accept that alone, and we'll put Johnson in. So fuck you.
ABC News presents Footsteps on the Moon, the flight of Apollo.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Frank Reynolds. In New York. It's July 16, 1969. And we're to witness the fulfillment of that promise that President Kennedy made at Rice University in Texas on September 1960. The moon still has not set. In some parts of our world has only 2 more of what you might call untrammeled. These 3 men are about to work on certain history's most adventures. Commander Armstrong, Lunar Module Pilot Aldrin, and Command Module Pilot Mike.
And so we'll a few segments and chime in. We just saw Frank Reynolds.
This time we do it my way.
Frank Reynolds and Bergman.
We're 28 minutes into the scheduled launch of Apollo 11 at 9:32 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and the countdown has been going spectacular until about 10 minutes ago, just before Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin started getting into the cabin of Apollo. And as flight leak developed, the valve system replenished the third stage of Saturn V, the S4 valve in question is not on the spacecraft itself, but on GSE or ground support valve, the very same back on Apollo 10. Here, Frank is holding up very well. Of clouds at 15,000 feet. As we look back to pad 39, right directly behind our ABC News at the Cape, you can see the clouds. They haven't truly developed the land area. Is this every country and millions of people in Florida will get a spectacular Saturn V off.
And one of the see-through rocket, the see-through Saturn V. Pretty amazing technology.
Led by security guards, farewell.
So if you watch here, you'll see Buzz, Neil, and coming down these steps. Look behind them into there's 2 other guys behind that. They're some guys, I don't know. Pretty strange to know who they are. Trying to hide.
Well, at ABC Space Headquarters in New York.
I'm sorry, that's just funny. Space Headquarters in New York.
The commander of the mission is 38-year-old Armstrong, only son of 3.
Was Neil fought the Korean War missions? That'd be like saying amateur
pilot of lunar Edwin Aldrin, 49 years old, Air Force colonel. 38 years old, Michael Collins, a lieutenant colonel in the Air Force, is the pilot of the command module. Job to circle the moon while Armstrong and are on it.
All go very smoothly with the count. Among the distinguished visitors here this morning, along with Vice President Agnew, is the former President. There's our line from the VIP stands on the other side of the VAB and Launch Control Center. Behind is former NASA Administrator James. Sitting in the picture, and many other dignitaries there. Some 8,000 dignitaries in all invited by the agency as guests.
8,000? I circled the grandstands here. I think seat 80, possibly 90 people. Here's a view from the parking lot. And you can see underneath that right there, way back there, that's your little box. So good seats. You can see everything. Here's the view from above the tent. You can see that distance is about miles to the launch complex there. Let's have Jules tell us how this all works. The Apollo 11 craft and rocket.
One contains a module or LEM, which will weigh more than 2,000 pounds. The module serves as a flight operations center and living quarters for the astronauts. After the third stage rocket sends Apollo 11 toward the moon, the onboard service module is used to put the orbit and later to return them home to Earth. The total payload, 1,000 pounds, rests on a Saturn V rocket. The first stage generates 7.5 tons of thrust at liftoff. They carry the Apollo space astronauts to an altitude of 100. And then the first stage breaks Apollo Earth orbit and propels the astronauts toward the moon. And this is what Apollo 11 will look like after its legs are, its gears, after translunar flight has begun, and as it heads toward the moon. Black and white covering, of course, it's covered by gold and black thermal mylar foil, and it heads around into orbit and then down towards descent on the moon. But essentially, that's what the vehicle looks like, a very ungainly machine. The astronaut, a thin life-wall flying machine, a thin life-wall structure, but it's proven to be one heck of a good flying machine on two Apollo 9 and Apollo 10.
Even Jules can barely describe it. See him giggling? Gold and black, or foil. It's an ungainly machine. I guess homeless tweet filter on over. If you think the lamp could descend to the moon and no atmosphere, you are what they call a fanboy. Or girl. Fanboy girl.
And counting. Neil Armstrong just reported it's been a real down. We passed the 57 mark. Power transfer complete. Power with the launch vehicle at the time.
Few things I want you to watch on this takeoff. The Saturn V as it takes off, and you notice that it takes off, starts going sideways, a little more sideways, and all of a sudden they switch cameras and it's right. All bullshit. Also, keep the as it takes off from Jules Berg makes a little joke that it's moving slowly.
40 seconds on the Apollo 11 liftoff. Tanks now pressurized. 35 seconds and counting. We are still with Apollo 30 seconds and astronauts report feels good. T-minus 25 seconds. 20 seconds and counting. T-minus 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 2, 1, 0. Engine run. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. Liftoff on a
Reporting their role in proper heading.
Yeah,
30 seconds.
Complete and efficient program.
How is it roll complete if it never rolled? Burning hot? True. Whatever the hell that means, Bergman. So fake. You'll see Shadow here in a second. Pretty interesting. It's always switching cameras, going back and forth. It just looks disgusting. I'm not sure how people can watch this and believe that it's a rocket never apart with astronauts aboard. I mean, give me a freaking break. I mean, listen to Neil here. He's got no elevated, no jump in his voice. As cool as a hoaxer can be. Congratulations. Fine job. In the plume for the next few seconds. Going vertical here. Go ahead and keep an eye on it from this point on.
Inboard engines out. Inboard cut off exactly on schedule. Apollo 11 now 3,000 miles, doing 350 miles an hour. 8 downrange, 30 miles high. Standing by for the down now. And ignition. Armstrong reporting the first stage engines have burned out exactly on schedule. The second stage engines have lit off.
Houston, thrusters go. All engines good. All right, you're loud and clear.
Jules has something to say here. Funny. And it's still the case for me today.
Still in sight from our launch canvas. Ground track. Burning hot, straight and true all the way. To a moon 218,000 miles distant. Many people never believed it happened.
I still don't.
3 miles downrange. 2 miles high, 1,000 feet per second. And the first major hurdle has been passed for Apollo 11. Going very, very well. The first minutes, 195-hour long. Almost without tension, almost regular airliner takeoff. The flame. Looking good at 5 minutes.
Well, then Houston, you are go at 5 minutes. Roger, Apollo 11, go.
Neil Armstrong live, reporting back to booster Capcom. 70 miles, altitude 82 miles, velocity 12,400 feet per second.
Slide at speed of COI capability. Okay.
9,000 miles an hour.
Speed of COI capability.
That's 9,000 information that the Apollo 11 use S4B if necessary.
In your living room. Thank you. You all through beautifully too.
Very clear communication system. Very clear. Apollo 11, that's Captain mission control. Ellsworth,
And Neil Armstrong in a basement somewhere. The communications are working.
Picture finally. The cameras are now at pad 39. Deluge or dowsing system we told you about. Hundreds of thousands of water wiped out by the heat and the flame.
When the stage is fired, gas will then be inserted in the trajectory needed to the moon. Confirmation of the trajectory course to the astronauts. 2 hours and 40 minutes after launch, escape 5,000 miles. Apollo 11 trajectory. Soon after the of the spacecraft module adapter are tested, the Apollo command and service module separates from the booster. The astronauts start a docking maneuver. Apollo 1 and using small thruster rockets dock with the land. The third will be jettisoned two after translunar action. The astronauts use guidance data, mid-course corrections, and set up the moon 3 days later. Then the rocket engines to get away from Earth, mid-course corrections may be needed. Pieces 1,000 plus 4,000 miles per hour, and the moon to exert its craft increases 6,000 miles per hour.
All right, we now have a picture from Apollo 11. In the space pictures, there's the Earth.
The Earth of 100,000 nautical miles.
150. Does anyone actually live there? Just floating in the blackness of space due to gravity. With no stars. Yeah, I know Earth is so bright, can't see any of the stars. You see somebody keep shot to get out of the way since they're faking this. This, folks, is fake. Oh, watch out. Is overtaking part of the Earth. That possibly happened. Camera up against the how back Earth. I wonder. Alright, and now what we'll do is prove that this was not filmed live. It was broadcast on if it were live, but we're going to match it up with the transcript and show clearly is a whole bunch of conversation taken out. So see if you can follow with this transcript.
All right. From Apollo 11, go to Houston for conversation. Craft Houston, and we'll see these pictures. There's the Earth.
From 130,000 nautical, or about 140 statute miles.
You're seeing Earth as left hip, just a little after. We're looking at the Pacific Ocean and the North America, United States, Canada, America. Become on the terminator. A definite blue test. See white band, major cloud formation above the Earth, and it's the coastline. The western U.S., San Joaquin Valley, the Sierra Mountains, the Hello, and the some clouds southeast of the U.S. There's one that north southwest of Alaska, looks like about 500 to the 1,000. And a very minor storm going south end of the along the 45 degrees or more.
Okay, so here is he stopped at latitude, and you'll see more text, can pick out the land pretty well, and then these other additions have all been omitted, yet this was the live footage shown on ABC. And you'll see pages of text have been missing, and then it will pick with them saying they can see the Earth out the window.
Cliff Charlesworth said,
See the Earth through the left window, and it appears that we can see a floodlight off to the left, the sun shafting through the hatch window.
words.
Coming in, I think I do that. Hello there, split fans. You got a little bit of nails in the couch, and Buzz is doing the camera work this time. Sure, it's dark now, 11. Dress stop might help. Yeah, that didn't work. Getting a lot better now, 11. Mike coming in 5. Well, I put on a code 5. I've known about this ahead of time. Is that Buzz holding your cue cards for you, over?
And we're going to discuss that in 1 second. But let's take a look at. So, if you watch carefully, you actually see that they are faking this shot. As the camera clears up here, see what they're doing. They're left out the opposite window. So imagine and shooting with the lights out of the opposite. Now you'd have to black out, but clearly it's possible. Because if you look carefully, you'll actually see that bright light. It's probably the sun or could be Earth, but you also the Earth down here in a little 50,000 miles out, and you'll see that bright light coming there and the Earth light there coming in your lower. Let me show you an example of what I'm talking about. So let's say a plane like this, and outer covered up the windows, so we have one circular window, and then what we can do is turn off the lights. So when the lights are out, we have something that looks kind of like, and the actual picture of the Earth below. Use a card out and create kind of a phase like this. But I think what would be even easier is to just use the daytime sky. So for out this window at the blue sky, and create some transparencies. You could create different phases. You can create. Then all you slide these over the window. So slid the phase Earth over the window. And that looks impressive. Here you can see the head, or this is still the phase. In a second we'll take and try that as well. And all we had to do was just cover up, black out all windows, then shut off the lights and film from the other side. So you'll see here we put the full Earth there, and voila. And you just got to make sure on the lights of the airplane. Of course, to get rid of the star problem, luckily for us, we're NASA, and we can people the stars don't show up. Sorry, and half the astronauts never seen the other half they do, and people. So it's really not that difficult of a. Now the next part is very interesting. I'm going to have on the transcript of the, so we can read the text at the same time as listening to the audio, and you'll notice that it's pretty significant. I don't know why they do this. It just gives us more evidence, but they've done it, so listen.
That's getting a lot better now, 11. Mike, you coming in 5 by. I got a good... Put on a cutting time, but I don't ahead of time. Is Buzz holding your key card for you? We have... Come up here, you have a happy home. Any room for the three of us? I think we're all learning to find our place to sit in. Here, G's very comfortable, but...
So just one more time. Mike says, "What time if I knew ahead of time?" Is Buzz holding your car? And he says, "Let's have a no. We have no intention with the professionals." From ABC, probably because who uses card actors. Pretty sure that we have no intention of competing with the professionals, which means they are acting as actors.
Roger, looks like in 11. Mike down. The definition is really out. The colors are good. A real good picture we're getting here of Commander Armstrong.
And if you want to see the name of the ABC Live, the link in the description so you can check it out, but we're going to move on.
And once again, we are in to see more pictures now. The lunar surface, Apollo 11, with me in New York, science editor, Jules. These should be interesting shots.
Apollo 11 is now coming up on the Sea of Tranquility, a landing area where Armstrong and Aldrin are scheduled to land at an altitude of 2 miles, and we're just getting the TV picture. Let's go to it for Apollo control.
Apollo, we're at 24 minutes, 11 seconds. Our orbital parameters show 104. Altitude, a balloon of 1.2, a paraloon of 1.3, a nautical.
Exactly what we're seeing or recognize what they say we're seeing here. This is a film in orbit per hour and 110 miles. Let's take a look and see if it matches.
Before about 80 degrees east, like 3 degrees east. Roger, we're showing your about 70 east, looking back towards the east.
So now look at this. Is this what it would look like if you were going 1,000 miles per hour, only 110 miles from the surface of the moon? It looks to me to be either a view through a telescope, possibly, or a giant model of the moon. People have seen the model that NASA in the late 60s. Pay attention to the lower right hand right now, and you're going to see a masked out something. Right there's very interesting there. But yeah, let me show you some models of the moon built. And you that's all that we're looking at here. Certainly doesn't seem like the moon. Just showing you quickly some of these images of these are NASA paint an exact replica of the moon. You also see the or this artist is making sure so they look as real as possible, which I see no reason for. And of course, you're going to fake the world. In this image here, something interesting, you see the track behind this. You could easily put a wheeled camera and get the same pictures that we're looking at now.
Now of about 10 miles, and could be considerably lower at the initial.
This is exactly the same territory. Eagle, the lunar module, will be flying over tomorrow as it begins its power descent toward a landing on Lunar Landing 2, now about 100 miles away.
Look at Register 3 on the disk. He updated anything toward the desired, and I'll let the hand controller reverses itself.
They're just now past sea, heading the sea, and we should be the craters Gilbert and Kastner to their flight path.
We're watching now, and still beautifully on the TV.
The space direction. Look at
the right side of the screen at the present time. There's a triple crater with a small crater between the first and second, and the one at the bottom of the screen is sheer line. Zoom in, it says the central peak in cubic wide. Actually, you can observe those. But the craters at the bottom of your screen.
our view tomorrow will be much a good deal closer to the
Okay, we're zooming in that crater gulch. Very inside hole, and the bottom of it is nearly flat. Look at data on the disk here. People are and is holding steady now. Roger. Looking out the window, I can see a number of craters on the bottom of super dense. Foaming sea, where I'll be doing marking on a crater of my choice, name of Crater Camp. Watching.
All right, what I've done at this point, taken this footage and times speed to see if we can see it like we would expect. At 4 times speed, this would be going as fast as the ISS, except that the ISS is 30 miles high, and this is only 10 miles high. So the considerably faster. Go ahead. If you think it looks at all, to me, it's just more proof to add to the plethora of evidence we have, the preponderance of evidence that's for you, Bob, to show that there's no way this craft is above the moon. Sorry, NASA. Should just tell the truth. And NASA fanboys, I really am sorry, but we should really be proud of things that we've done and not host scientific expeditions that never happened and have been put in school books and textbooks and taught as truth. It's embarrassing. I've also seen this part, but overall, it is simply terrible. How can anyone believe this is the moon, or that this craft is going per hour? or that they are 110 miles above the surface, or that 6 times 50 years ago we sent humans 240,000 miles with the technology of a Game Boy, that we knocked and landed and launched, conducted phone calls, filmed live footage, and beat back home, that it was so we've never been back? I mean, anybody who thinks those needs to really research this stuff, or you can just be like Hogan. You can just be a human who has chosen to give up their ability to think and bow down to the scientific. Even though if science is what we were taught, they'd be more than happy to show us the evidence to prove what they claim. Instead, we get laughed at, we get called on, yet nobody can support the evidence that should be readily if you're going to teach and say about where they live as scientific fact. I mean, honestly, watch. This craft is not in any kind of orbit. This is a panning on a track or looking at a scope at best. It's really time we woke up.
Well, it's in a way a million between the flight of the right Kitty Hawk, but it's not so very long when you stop to think of the actual calendar time. But of course, there have been tremendous tides. No realist, I guess, could have dreamed at the time of the Wright brothers' flight that less than 70 years later we'd be on the surface of the moon.
Here, Frank to sit down with Neil. Very interesting and extremely telling answer to this question. It's all resources.
You're supposed to be, and you are a pilot, a philosopher, first man to land on the moon, beyond the technical, scientific aspect. So you really, but you're the man to give the answer. What do you think this means?
If we are successfully able to execute touchdown and give us the confidence. I think it's probably the greatest result of the flight. It's going to assure those people who have been spending long hours, late at night, for many years in the street stations over in the other the almost staggering they tackled, in fact, and given that confidence, be in a much better position to accurately judge what we should tackle in the future. It won't be marked by a understanding of what can and can't. It can be judged on its values.
Was to our exotic on Earth?
I certainly hope that that we would take the more powerful approaches that have been used in this kind of a program, find ways to apply those approaches to other problems. I think that these people have been, in this approach have been successful. We should take a resource away to some other people that have been less successful.
I get the impression you...
Certainly can have a lot of abilities, and when we direct towards goals, we usually solve.
You know, I think I was wrong in putting that question to him in the way I phrased it. He's a philosopher. Means what he says and says what he means.
Next, we're going to pay attention to specific features from the press conference that took place after Apollo 11. First thing you should notice is the demeanor and the stature, the body language of the three gentlemen who supposedly back from and going to the moon.
Collins, Edwin, Neil.
It was our pleasure to have participated in one adventure. So it was not just one life, but that took place in the last day. To share that. It's our privilege today to share with you the details of that final that was certainly the highlight for the of that. We're going to divert a little bit from of and things interested, particularly on the moon. Which of you have hint of the point that we are to look here from the surface of
And here's a very interesting comment about the distance they were.
Than the distance. Okay.
Many of us, the people, and many have speculated on this first land. Would each of you give us an estimate of what?
I think this answer by Buzz is one of the most telling answers to any question about I've ever heard. Listen carefully.
Going to be sooner or later.
States, we have the potential to get out of the mission, and again, this the economy. The relative ease with which we were able to our mission came after a very difficult sequence. I just demonstrated that track when we took I think many other problems way that solve them along. I think that we time this be timely to areas of action could be accomplished.
As a beginning, not just this flight, but very short piece of human history, an instant in history, the entire program. It's a beginning of a new age.
Well, let's at least all for those famous 2 lines when he landed on the
Not if all goes well, because, from which will first we all that line right now, and by God, just think. How thing going for well, it better oil we're landing on the moon. Woo. My own. Oh, jeez.
Copy your plan. We're again. Thanks a lot.
There's a foot coming. Armstrong is Neil Armstrong.
absolutely must learn to know when we're being lied to. When jokers are out there pretending and faking, deceiving, and we still have 80% believing. Walter Pratt, liar. Here he is, saying how it is to be sitting.
Position speak. My God, I'm going to. To deal with problems, we used to federal government. Has the devil.
And so here's what it boils down to. Are you going to accept as evidence that we went to the moon? These images. I mean, come on, guys. Now, joke. Them continue to lie to the world. These proofs take 30 miles. Yet anyone with any scientific will scream that this proves the moon landings. I think it even proves that the CGI article is old. All you gotta do is go check out a Hubble repair mission. Watch and you'll finally get it. You need to take some time and check if NASA is real or if they're a fraud. Because we missed the boat. People can fool easily now. And we're going to look at what's possible with green screen, with chroma. And so the ISS, space, all that stuff, fake. So what you need to do is you need to open your eye, test the truth, challenge the critics, debunk myth, smash on and don't back down. The fanboys they can't see the first scientific is to ask questions. Stop. But I always do say, don't trust me, don't believe me. But if you want my opinion, there's no way NASA is telling the truth. Look at what's possible now. As long as we keep believing, they'll keep faking it. So it's up to us to make sure they know we aren't as stupid as they think. The days of are done. Don't keep your mind, because there's truth in it. Truth you could use to support. This has JERANISM. Till next time.